Hey, it's Brad from the Padre team. Come support us on Kickstarter.
And in 3, 2, 1. And I'm not doing the same kind of intro that Drag did last time because that sounded stupid. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of BAMMSTERS Rated R Show. My name, as always, is Skyrim, but hey, you can call me G. I shall be your host for tonight, and with me over from always sunny California, we have Draconis.
Wait a minute, you didn't like my funky voice? I think you kind of asked for it that time. And also joining us in the other chair is Mr. Bam Havoc.
Don't really want to talk to you right now, Drac. Don't want to talk to you right now. That was atrocious, bro. Atrocious.
Yeah, I'm sort of with Bam.
Stop the presses. Stop the presses. G actually agrees with me? I'm gonna go get some KFC and bacon. This is a surprise. Treat myself, you know?
Yeah, that's unfair because we don't have KFC down here.
Not my fault you live in a backwards country that doesn't have any roads, mate.
I checked, it's actually because of the UK that we don't have KFC down here.
Yes, because all the fat people live in England. I get it.
Nah, it's a legal thing, European rules, they try to base in the UK, and long story, we won't cover that now because this week, well, we're coming up on the end of October, which means just one thing. It's another future-proof episode.
Yes, an aptly named segment, but we're going to try and future-proof you guys about some of the games that are released. Games that interest you, me, Drac, Draconis. They're the same person, but you know what I mean. So, let's start this list then.
Well, I'm going to start off a little bit on, because not a game, but the Xbox One X, or X1X, Zonix, however they want to name it. That's coming out here in November 7th.
I think we're supposed to have some fanfare sound effects there, right?
Yeah, I noticed you guys don't seem particularly excited, but it's supposed to be the most powerful console ever.
Excited.
Yeah, I saw Microsoft put out this press material, and inside of it they made a comparison chart between the PS4, the X1S, PS4 Pro, and X1X. Whose idea was it to call one X1S and X1X? Anyways, so they put it up and they have all the numbers showing how much more powerful the X1X is over the PS4 Pro. And it's just a case of, what are you trying to start here? Didn't we agree that the whole console wars thing was stupid?
Somebody at Microsoft must have forgotten that.
Yeah. What about you, Bam? You're not getting one?
Wait, what? You mean I'm gonna go and listen to the marketing rubbish? Because, if I remember correctly, when the Xbox One was launched, it was gonna be the world's most powerful console. Turns out it wasn't, and the PS4 was. And because the price point of the PS4 utterly blew them into next week, the PS4 sold 64 million consoles, something stupid, maybe 70, and the Xbox has barely scratched 20, 30? So yeah, I'll have to wait and see. Funny they're launching it now midway through the Xbox One's life cycle. I'm a bit critical about this when it comes to Xbox. I'm not a Sony fanboy, even though people say I am. I do have Xbox Ones and Xbox 360s and stuff. I love Gears of War and Halo. I'm tired of the marketing nonsense. I really am. Just sell me a console, stop the marketing nonsense, and just sell me a console. A good one, please.
Yeah, I'm a little bit with you for different reasons, I guess. The X1X will be the most powerful one. The numbers are just ahead by a fair margin, whereas with the PS4 versus Xbox One, they were really close, and it was just small things that made the PS4 better or faster, like the RAM type, etc. But at this point, the PS4 just has the Xbox One, the whole lineup beaten on software. And unless Xbox turns that around, they're not going to sell many of them because who wants to buy an extra expensive console? If the games are, they're available, most of them on both platforms, but the exclusives seem to favor the PS4 a little bit, so the software side, the part that really matters, that seems to be on Sony's side.
You're also forgetting, G, that when it comes to video game developers, they develop for the lowest common denominator. So essentially they're developing for either the old gen PS3 and the Xbox 360, or it's only going to be the new age release, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and then they're going to be developing for the Xbox One because that's the lowest common denominator. So no matter what console you get, you're still going to be able to play your games. Yes, it might have 4K, but who's got a 4K TV? Which 10, 12-year-olds got enough cash to buy himself a 4K TV? Shit, I'm 34. I haven't got money to buy myself a 55-inch 4K TV. I'd much rather stick with my 55 1080p TV. You know? Bloody hell. It just makes no sense to me. But I'm sure it'll be Christmas's biggest seller come Black Friday.
Well, and for myself at least, when you mentioned the software lineup, that's the only reason I even got the PS4 was to play a couple of games on there. I had an Xbox 360, and the only reason I got that was to play around with the Kinect, see how that worked, and had some fun with some of those games. But most of the gaming I do is on PC anyway, so yeah, I'm. This is great for folks who want to play on the new Xbox console, but not for me.
Yeah, should we say that was it? Should we get into some of the games then?
Yes, go on, G. Go on, G. Do it.
Okay, before we started, Drag told me to be proper about this, and we should do it chronologically. Aye.
Sorry, it's the OCD in me.
Let's start with A Tale of Two Kingdoms for the PC, which also tells us this will be one of Drag's.
Well, a couple weeks ago we interviewed some guys from an online community called Diplomunion, and we were talking about some old school games like King's Quest and whatnot. Actually, this one releases on the 31st of October, so it'll be the day before November starts, but it has that old school feel of like the old King's Quest games. It plays like that. The graphics are slightly better than some of the old school King's Quest games that I played, but it looked kind of interesting. So if you're a fan of old school RPGs like the King's Quest series, check it out on Steam. A Tale of Two Kingdoms comes out on the 31st of October.
It looks interesting enough, and it's in the area of what I would play, but it's PC, so I guess I won't. After that, I can't tell which one of you two put this one in the list. It's Call of Duty World War II for the PS4, Xbox One, and PC, coming out November 3rd.
Drac. All Drac. It's a Call of Duty game, it's Drac.
I had some fun playing this one in the beta, so yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward for it coming out, but I've got, I don't have any free cash yet, so I'm not going to be buying it on release day. I'm probably going to be picking it up later, maybe around Christmas time.
Hang on. You said you had fun playing the beta.
Yeah, I did.
Well, hang on. Some of the guys that watched the Diplomunion episode quite quickly pointed out that, this is why console gamers are terrible at playing first-person shooters. Them thinking that the person who'd recorded the footage was on console. It was you playing your PC, Drac. You spent most of your time dead on your back, and that's what you consider fun. Yes, I'm giving you shit, Drac. I don't understand how you think being dead for a third of the time being fun, mate. Explain this part, please, dude.
Because when you get those few kills in there, they're all the sweeter. I haven't played any kind of competitive online stuff in years, but I've only just started doing that again, and some of the things I started doing that with was this Call of Duty game. I think Fortnite Battle Royale, I played a little bit of that. Did nowhere near as good as Jolly. Jolly's kicking ass in that. But yeah, I play like I got one hand tied behind my back.
I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. I know you're not a well-seasoned FPSer. You tend to run around doing other types of games, whatever have you. But please, Drac, please, when you're going to shoot someone, instead of reloading your weapon, pull your pistol out and use that, please. Just top tip.
Yes, I suffer from constant reload syndrome.
That was, I think, one of the only flaws. Your angling was a bit off, and your running was a bit weird. It looked a bit weird when you were playing it. But you're learning, bro. You're learning. Learn from Jolly. He's the Fortnite master. Learn from him.
Yeah.
Young Grasshopper.
Yeah, I played a little bit of the Destiny 2 on PC. Played a little bit of multiplayer on that. And hey, I actually had an 8-to-4 kill-to-death ratio, so I'm slowly getting better.
Mate, as long as you're improving, that's what matters. As long as you don't plateau at the negatives, you're fine. You're fine.
I just want to second Bam's suggestion. Play with Jolly. I got better from that. That dude knows what he's doing. Scarily.
It's his angles. He knows how to cover his angles, and he knows the path to follow. So if you guys want to watch Jolly play, just go watch his Twitch stream whenever he's doing Fortnite, or watch some of his videos he puts out on his own private channel. Tell you what, there's some quality killing sprees in that. His angles and his covering and his reaction times are just superb. I don't think I can match that.
So, moving on down the list. Oh, this is a PS4 one of those that I'm annoyed that I haven't got around to play. Horizon Zero Dawn, and this is the DLC, The Frozen Wilds, which we should add will be the only DLC apparently for Horizon Zero Dawn.
Well, don't feel too bad about not getting around to play it. I have the game. I've played through, I'm going to guess, maybe a third of the story, and I just haven't been able to find the time to really sit down and put into it, but I know the original game's been a hell of a lot of fun, so I'm expecting good things from the DLC.
You see, now that comment there was a bit counterintuitive. If you really enjoyed the game, you'd find time to play the game, and if you're not finding time to play the game, clearly it's not that interesting or that engaging that you just I'll play it later. Pfft, it's only a game.
Well, no, it's not a matter of I'll play it later. It's a matter of I've got a lot of things piled on my plate. And so trying to get through everything I have on my list, and sometimes, you know, those other things, family, you know, stuff with the kids' school, and some reconstruction or renovation stuff I have going on at the house has just taken precedence.
I'll let you off, sir. I'll let you off.
I would say it looks also like this is not a game you just pick up and play for 15 minutes. Seems like something you have to put a little bit of time in.
Yeah, you certainly do, because you don't really get far or get too much done in 15 or 20 minutes. You need to have a couple hours at a time.
Well, talking of games where you should probably set aside a bit of time, when we were going through the list, I noticed there was one that just, this must be up Drax's alley. When he says he's not a first-person shooter kind of guy, America's Greatest Game Shows, Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy, comes out as a package deal, but you can also buy them separately, apparently. They're for the PS4 and Xbox One November 7th, so anybody who's watched Wheel of Fortune, which I think at this point is the longest running TV show, or who's been looking at Jeopardy and going, ooh, I can do better than that, here's your game. There's literally every chance to just stay at home and pretend that you're winning things.
Okay, hold on a second.
Don't know what it was in Call of Duty, but I wouldn't call that competitive.
Okay, hold on a second. I gotta stop you there. I'm not the one that said I wasn't a first-person shooter guy. Bam keeps saying that. I think I tried to correct him once or twice, and you guys have just run with that. I love first-person shooters. They're my probably top 2 type of favorite games. It's just that I haven't played competitive. I usually just play against the AI on the computer. And I seem to do pretty good, do just fine with that, but it's only been recently that I started playing competitively again. But I love first-person shooters, so let's clear that one up.
You can see the corruption coming off them like smoke.
Yes, you're winning there. You were winning there. You know when you said America's Greatest Game Shows, I honestly, I thought you were trolling and we're going to say the US presidential election. Where else can a second-hand car salesman or car dealer become president of the United States of America? Freedom land.
I was trying to see who could get killed more often. I was winning.
Yeah, let's stay out of politics and don't mention America's Trump stain.
It's too late, mate. I mentioned it. I mentioned that we named Trump, so it's too late. We're gonna get struck. It doesn't matter.
Hey, knock it off before we get another YouTube strike.
Yes. Let's not. Let's move on to the next one.
We also don't want to touch too much on the Wheel of Fortune, I guess. No worries. Sonic Forces. Is that another one of those Sonic Hedgehog things?
Yes, it's a game that I put in. It is, believe it or not, because of what happened last week, Drake forced me to use the Nintendo Switch in constructive criticism towards himself and towards Bits and Pieces. I said, sod it, I'm not gonna buy. Fucking no. I'm gonna list some Nintendo Switch games that are coming out in November. And the first one that caught my eye is Sonic Forces. Now, I'm a veteran of Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic and Tails, Sonic 2. Loved those games. Sonic 2 wasn't as good as Sonic 1, I thought, but it was still a good game. And now Sonic Forces is coming out.
Yeah, we should probably mention November 7th, so...
It's also coming out on the PC on Steam.
It is, yes, it is.
Here's the thing, I haven't played a Sonic game in...
Dude, I haven't played Sonic games since I was in primary school, mate, so I'm probably there with you. Believe it or not, the guys that are bringing you Sonic Forces are the same guys that brought you Sonic Colors and Sonic Generations. Two fairly okay Sonic types of games, rather than the 3D platformer version, which is horribly horrible. So, as far as I can tell, I can't really find out anything about this game, apart from it's going to be, from what it seems, fairly serious, because it's quite dark and gloomy, and, you know, Sonic is going to go save the world. Well, it's about time, you know, it's about time we went and saved the world. It looks good, but it's a trailer, and trailers always look good. So hopefully this will put Sonic back on the, back on the podium above Mario, because I've never really been a fan of Mario. I've always been a fan of Sonic. A fan of Sonic. That works. A fan of Sonic, rather than Mario. Can you tell I was a Sega person rather than a Nintendo person when I was a kid?
But yeah, I was on the Amiga, so we only had a weird copy thing, clone thing. So, yeah. Slightly confusing though, because this is games coming out in November 2018. And I think this is Drag who's been adding Bethesda things. Doom and Elder Scrolls for Switch.
Yeah, well, I guess if you want to call it, it's not exactly a re-release since it hasn't been released on the Nintendo Switch before, but yeah, it looks like Bethesda is starting to bring more of their titles now to the Switch, and Doom will be coming out on the 10th of November, and shortly after that, they're also releasing Skyrim on the Switch on November 17th, so a couple of titles to look forward to. I won't be picking up Doom for the Switch, but I do intend at some point to pick up Skyrim for the Switch since I never finished playing it on the PC. It'll be one of those games I can carry around with me on the portable console and play when I have time.
No, I can definitely see Squirmin on the Switch, playing it on the bus or whatever, metro, as you're going about town and just have a few minutes downtime. Particularly if you could move it back and forward between that and the PC. But playing Doom in a train or wherever, on your way to school, on your way to work, that doesn't make sense.
Well, you don't have to play it on the train or the bus or inside an Uber. You can always still have the console hooked up to your TV at home or, you know, wherever you happen to be. And they've got a headset, so, you know, you don't have to worry about freaking people out with weird sounds and explosions.
Okay, I said we wouldn't go political, but just a heads up, you would not catch me dead in an Uber.
You know, I really wish this Elder Scrolls, Skyrim particularly, would just die. It needs to die. Bring out Elder Scrolls 6. Please, just kill Skyrim. Just please die. It's had so many re-releases, so many upgrades, so many updates, so many this, so many that. Just please kill Skyrim. Please, just murder it in the face. Kill Skyrim. I've played the game through, right? And it's a great game. But I've never felt the compulsion to go play it again on a different bloody console to have the same experience.
But bam.
Well, and that's the reason.
Now you can play it in PSVR, like goggles, and move your head around inside Squirmin.
No. Just please kill Skyrim. Please, Bethesda, you've overdone it now. Please just kill Skyrim. Please, you've milked this udder from that cow so much. Just please kill Skyrim. Bloody hell, it's like getting an arrow to the freaking knee. Your worst nightmare ever. Please just kill Skyrim. Just please kill it.
Nice reference there. Yeah, they apparently took a little bit of an arrow to the knee when they decided to release the survival mode. And I think it's for like $15 or something like that. And there were a lot of people that were none too happy that they were asking folks to spend that much for what equates to a DLC for a game that's that old.
Look, Skyrim's great. Okay, I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it's not. Lovely England right there. It's a brilliant game, right? It's very good. I really enjoyed the storyline behind it. I didn't do the main quest until at least a month in, because I went around the map and completed most of the bits and pieces. Then I went to the main story and completed that, and it was a very, very engaging world, and I really like going dungeon crawling and whatever have it with Skyrim. But please just kill Skyrim. It's dead. It's dying. Please just shoot it and kill it. Get out of its misery and give us Elder Scrolls 6. You know, that'll be a great game, I'm sure.
I suspect we're going to hear the same from you again in about half a year's time when they finally release Fallout 4 for PSVR.
Oh, Jesus, I know. Fallout 4, great game as well. Fallout 3, New Vegas, all good games. Really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed that sort of post-apocalyptic sort of 50s thing. I really do. But please, just instead of, to be honest, this was a quick way for developers to make money, so I do understand it. You know, they just rebox and reship the same game, no effort required. I understand why they're doing it, but come on, lines being crossed, kill the game, put it to sleep forever. Just please, Bethesda, please.
I would say there's a little more to it than just reboxing and whatnot, considering it's different platforms, different styles of control that have to be programmed in there. But yeah, I agree. Skyrim was a wonderful game. It served its time. Let's move on. Of course, unfortunately, I think between them working on releasing these types of games into newer platforms and the development that they have going on with ESO, it's going to be 2020 probably before we see another Elder Scrolls game, if we're lucky.
Sadly, you're not wrong.
Okay, talking of things that should die in a flame horribly. Star Wars. Particularly in this case, Star Wars Battlefront 2. For PS4, Xbox One, PC. Coming out November 17th. I guess, Bam, this might be a little bit up your alley, because this is another DICE shooter.
Okay, alright. I've said this before when it comes to the current new iteration of Star Wars Battlefront. The first ones I played were on the Xbox, the original Xbox. Okay, I really enjoyed it. They were great. They were fun. The competitive online shooters were brilliant. The droids were great. I loved being the assault trooper. You jump in there and you just mow people down. You get mowed down. There was a bridge that you got to cross into like a circular bit. I loved that map. I loved their games. But then when I went to play the new Battlefront, it just felt very Battlefront 4-ish. And so did Battlefield 1. It felt very Battlefield 4-ish. I thought I was in for a completely different experience. Whereas people can say, oh, if it felt like Battlefield 4, then it got Battlefield 3. No. Battlefield 3 felt very different to Battlefield 4. Different mechanics, different ways of getting things done. Battlefield 1, Hardline, Battlefront, and Battlefront 2, I assume Battlefront 2 will play the same as the rest. They just play the same. I didn't like Hardline. I didn't like Battlefront, the new Battlefront. I don't like Battlefield 1, even though I bought the game like a plum. I'm still playing Battlefield 4, because as it stands, it's the only place I can fly a helicopter, blow it out the sky with an RPG, and run around with my MTAR shooting people in the face. I get more enjoyment out of that than playing Battlefield 1 or Hardline with the stupid game modes. That's really particularly about Hardline, was a stupid game mode. They made no bloody sense. So Battlefront 2 will be more of the same, I imagine. I really hope it's not. Oh, and also, when I played Battlefront, you could have a space map, right? And you could just fly around in space, shoot people in the face, blow the starshipy things up, right? Fly into the docking bay, disable the shields, disable the power generators, disable the engines, and then blow that ship up. You know, that didn't happen in the original Battlefront. I'm hoping the space, Drake, you can check this for me, because this is how much interest I've got in this game right now. It's almost zero. I've done no research on this at all, because I just don't like it. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but the space maps play very similar to airborne maps in Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 3. You can't actually land on the spaceships, knock down the shields, the engines, the motors, and blow the spaceship up. You have to capture points. You know, it's just another air mode. It's the same game with a different skin. Please, Drac, tell me I'm wrong, please. Is there a light at the end of this dark tunnel?
From the beta, I can't tell you you're wrong. I played the Star Wars Battlefront 1 beta. I thought that got kind of boring quickly, but the Battlefront 2 Star Wars beta that I played in seemed to be a lot more fun. It does have space battles, but they're basically just dogfights. At least that was more or less my experience with the beta. So until the game comes out, I can't tell you if they're going to add any additional modes or if there's more content than just the space dogfights.
Well, in the Battlefront that I fondly remember, it was a space battle. Yes, you had to blow up the starships and whatever have you, but you could also go into the starships and disable its shields, its weapons, you know, its motors, its cores and whatever, and then that ship would blow up and then you'd win the match, or, you know, something like that. You know, I didn't see any of this in the game footage you played. I just saw you hovering around a point and then moving on to the next point.
Right, and what you saw in that was just the footage from the player versus player type stuff. So there's supposed to be a single player, well, not supposed to be, there is a single player campaign that's included in this one, which was a big complaint that it didn't come packaged with the original Star Wars Battlefront game, or not the original, but the one that came out a little while back. But it almost feels a little bit kind of like a slap in the face, only because I've been told that the playtime on that, on the upper end, is 5 hours. So, I mean, if you're getting through it kind of quick, you might even be able to finish it in as little as 3 or 4 hours. That just seems really short to me for a single-player campaign. I know that's not necessarily the focus with a game like that, but if you're going to include something like that, I always feel like you don't half-ass it. You know, if you're going to do it right. I think probably, 8 to 10 hours would have been a much better length for a single-player campaign.
Just to add my 2 cents, I played the demos of them, both Battlefront 1 and 2. Battlefront 1 was plasticky and absolutely uninteresting. Battlefront 2 felt better, but it turns out my DualShock 4 controller for the PlayStation 4, the R2 no longer has full travel, and because of how EA DICE implements these games, you have to push the button the whole way for it to trigger as a shooting event. And therefore I can't actually play it properly. Yay. The only game I've seen that in.
Change to PC.
Gonna fix my controller.
I'm working on BAM. He's thinking about it. And little does he know that after PC, maybe I'll start working on him with the Switch so we can play some Mario Kart.
Go to the dark side. Go to PC.
Should we wrap this up? And there's one other little bullet on here. It's also a Switch game. Tiny Metal. Not heard of it.
Yes, it's a Nintendo Switch release. You're right. It comes out on the 25th of November. Yes, this year. The publisher is Unities, and the developer is Area 52. Right? It's basically a turn-based sort of military-themed game, and it's got a relatively engaging story from what I've been able to tell. And you've obviously, with turn-based, there's a goodies and a baddies, and you got to go and do that. So basically, a turn-based game that is on the Switch, and it looks like a lot of fun. But not having a Switch, I can't play it. So there's the point I've been trying to make to Jack. I'm talking about games I can't actually play that actually do look interesting. The point I'm trying to make to Jack.
Your point is invalid, sir. It will be releasing on PS4 and on Steam, as well as the Switch.
No. I'm not going to play these games because they're releasing on Switch just because of that. You see, I'm being full of myself. Because it comes out on the Switch, therefore I shall not play it because it's on the Switch.
I hadn't even heard of this one until you brought it up, but when I looked, it's got kind of a cute cartoony look to it. Looks like it could be some fun, a little RTS.
To be honest, all dickishness aside, the game actually looks quite fun. And you're right, cartoony-ish, and it's a bit different. So it caught my eye, and I'm like, yeah, it's coming out on the Switch. I'll poke Drac with it. It's Tiny Metal. It's a bit of fun,
Yeah, I haven't seen it, so I can't really comment. Moving on a little bit, there was one item I wanted to bring up because we've basically been talking about your games now. Warframe, the Plains of Eidelon, is releasing this November, but they won't tell us when.
Hang on. That game isn't releasing in November. It released in 2012, if I'm not mistaken, or 2012? 2012?
Because it's Plains of Eidelon. They're basically going, ooh, Destiny and The Division looks nice. Let's do that in Warframe.
Hang on, so I get to play Division, but with my...
Well, think that whole open area run around social hub kind of experience. They're not going quite as far, but it looks really nice. And as always, I like the stories in Warframe. I haven't played the damn game in almost 2 years. But I'm coming back just because of Plains of Eidelon.
I used to love playing Warframe. I used to love it. I haven't played the game, I'll say, in about 2 years as well. I think I might have to go and have a look-see. I think I'll join you, G. And I might go along back to Planetside 2, because there's also a massive update for them coming, isn't there?
There was one today, but I didn't actually check what it is. But yeah, they've been doing stuff. I should say, just so we're clear, Plains of Eidelon has released on PC this month, but that means it's only 1/3 release because Xbox and PS4 doesn't have it yet. They're releasing in November, so as far as I'm concerned, it's not out properly. But November-ish, this one, I think anybody who's played Warframe, go check it out. Anybody who hasn't, when it launches, There'll be streams. There are already streams all over the place. Check it out. This is a good game, and I think they might just have a home run here.
Whoa, high praises from G. I actually might go have a look at this. This sounds interesting. If you're going to praise a game for having a home run, I think I might actually go have a look. I shall download it tonight, sir.
Well, I'll be playing it tonight because I'm just practicing everything. Damn, you forget a lot.
God, I can't even remember what my frame name was. I only used one.
Mag Prime.
Ah, Mag Prime, that's it. I only had one frame because that's the only frame I liked.
And the Galentine.
Oh, and the Galentine, yeah, Galentine, yeah.
By the way, there's a Galentine Prime, but we can talk about that offline. Because we're at the point where we have to wrap up, there will be a little interview coming after this. But before that, I just want to point out some other things that are coming here in November. Let's do this really quickly. Hitman, which released back in February. There will be a Game of the Year edition. They're that, full of themselves. Neor, also released earlier this year, coming out as a complete edition for the PC. Farming Simulator 17. I have no idea, but they are redoing with a Platinum edition. So you get all the farming equipment or something. For the PS4, the X1, the Windows. I don't know if you can get all the Farming Simulator equipment for the consoles, but on Windows you can get so much absurd gear for it. BioShock 10-year anniversary edition. If you haven't played BioShock, this is the chance to do so. And finally, here's a game, it's not quite 10 years like BioShock, but LA Noire. It's coming out for the PS4, the X1 and Switch, redone with 4K graphics for if you have a PS4 Pro, etc. Again, one of those games that, when it came out, just blew people away. And frankly, I think it's still a good game. Go check that release out. If you haven't got it back then, get it now.
Hang on. Did you just say Platinum?
Platinum.
What?
Platinum.
No. It's Platinum.
Platinum.
No, don't go all American and say tomato when it's tomato and potato when it's potato. Hang on. It's Platinum, not Platinum.
Should we wrap up? Because it's been a while, and as I said, we need to leave a little bit of room for the Padre, who's coming on next.
Go on then.
If you like painting your house square, you must listen to BAM in this episode.
We're back again. Yes. Oh, it looks like Dracona's left us, but hey, I'm still here, and I think I think Bam is hiding somewhere. I must be drunk by all this time already.
Yeah. I'm here. Welcome, guys. My name is Bam Havoc. Welcome, if you guys have stayed on to listen to this interview. We've got two crazy guys from God knows where coming to talk to us today. I can't pronounce the name, so please forgive me if I'm wrong, but I've got Ben Say, and Ballas. Guys, say hi.
Hi, I'm Balaj.
Hi, my name is Benze. Hello, everyone.
I got the names right, G. Look at me. I'm educated. Look at me. Oh yeah.
Let's say you got them right-ish, but better than me.
Ballas and Bense. There we go. That'll do me. I'll call them Balls and Ben. There we go. Balls and Ben. Happy. That's what I'm gonna call them. Guys, welcome to the BAMMSTERS podcast. Please tell me a little bit about yourselves.
So, we are the Padre team, and we are making a new retro horror game called The Padre. It's a hybrid voxel style game with some fun pop cultural references and quite a good atmosphere, I guess. At least the reviews told us that we have.
Yeah, we are going to release the best horror adventure you ever played.
That is a high bar. The best horror game ever. No, I'm not saying you won't hit it, but that's gonna be up there.
It's a horror adventure, so it's mainly adventure, but the atmosphere is tense.
You know, I played this little demo thing you have going, and I think you're right. We need something of this, because let's look at this one in the light of all the other horror games that's come out recently. 90% of them are first-person-ish or VR, and basing around the whole idea of jump scares. Oh look, something jumped out, particularly all the VR ones. Having a horror game like yours that is in an ISO 3D style, voxel-based of all things, and where it's, the setting is nice and slow, and the horror is within the setting and the story, and not just things falling out of the walls. We need that at this point.
Yes, we are trying to be as good as we can. When we were kids, we were playing Alone in the Dark and those games, and we had the feeling that we need something like that. I mean, something when you can think about a bit and you can feel some tense feelings, and here is Padre.
Yeah, I would say I didn't play it a lot. I just, tried it out because you're here and you kind of deserve that we try out your games if possible. And it was cute little things. Like, I don't think I give anything away by saying, was it the arms of some clothing hanging on a rack that was moving a little bit? A coat of arms where the head turned a little bit, little cute things, little nice things that kind of bring us back to the old games. When I say old, I mean late 80s, early 90s games. This worked.
Yeah, and we don't have gore. And nowadays, as you said, a lot of FPS horror is about just gore and jump scares. And we don't want gore and anything like that.
Yeah, I would even go so far back as, Zack McCracken, etc. They're not necessarily horror games, but the atmosphere thing, that's alpha and omega in a game like this.
I try to limit jump scares in the game. I mean, first I thought that, okay, I eliminated all the jump scares, but then I played the game again and, okay, we have some jump scares, I have to admit, but only a few.
But you mixed in voxelized graphics, like this not quite clear, slightly uncanny valley style visuals. Which, when I was reading it, when I got the pitch from Eddie, I was kind of going, this won't work, but it's nice and diffuse and simple and clear, and it's all of these things at once because it's this voxel graphics. I like that. You hit on something there that actually shouldn't work, but somehow does.
I'm glad to hear, because that's our main goal, to recall your memories about Resident Evil 1, Alone in the Dark, and such a game like this.
Oh, that matters. I must say, one thing also that drove me to kind of pick you guys up and bring you on here was I got to tell Bam to go play a horror game.
Yeah, thanks for that. I'm absolutely terrified of playing horror games. I've played Resident Evil, and I've never played a horror game ever since, because that game scared the living bejesus out of me. Absolute. And if this game's anything like that, I think I'll be under the pillows with the cushions under the bed, shivering in the corner, going. Ah!
Thank you. Good to hear. We played a lot of adventure games, from Dave the Tentacle, Maniac Mansion, Monkey Island series. I love the point-and-click adventure style, and I love the 3D isometric horror style, and so we somehow mixed it, and I think it works.
When I was browsing the net, I found some graphics about. I found a really atmospheric voxel graphics on Sketchfab, and I loved it so much that this can work. I mean, we can make something work with this. This can be scary. This can be tense. This can be quite symbolic, so that's why we use this voxel style, and it is also quite easy to use. We also wanted to add a lot of fun in it. I mean, the setting is a horror setting, but we mixed a bit of reference here and there and small jokes. We have a wonderful voice actor, Patrick Hick Jr., and he made the character, he brought the character to such a place when there was no turning back. He became a bit funny, the character, and now we had to include some jokes in it as well, and that made the whole game a different game.
Right. I've just got a question for you guys, right? I noticed an accent from Balls and yourself, Ben. Can I guess where they're from? I want to say, and I'm going to get them wrong, but I want to say Spanish and Scandinavian.
We are from Hungary, the two of us, but the team is international.
No, I just wanted to know, is English your first language? Clearly not. Is English like your second, third, fourth, fifth?
English is my second. I know I should improve it, and I will.
English is also my second language. I mean, I can speak a bit German, but that's it.
So tell me, how did you guys get together? How did Padre come to be?
So Padre come to be with an idea about the voxel art, and when we meet with Balázs, we became friends and we made a few smaller mobile games together, but we thought that this idea, this atmosphere was so much better than we made before that we formed a team around it and wanted to make something real good for the players. I mean, that you can love. We added a lot of details what didn't necessarily play main part in the game, like the armor, what is looking to you when you just pass by, the pictures on the walls can move.
Yeah, as Bente said, almost a year ago, he showed me this sketch art, this voxel art. Then we couldn't stop thinking about this, and then around January we decided to go for it. So we gathered a team. We established a company called Shotgun with Glitters, and right now we are here. We have an alpha demo. We are heading to Kickstarter to finish it. I am happy because almost every feedback is positive.
We hope that probably we made something good, actually.
I think you have.
Right, as G had mentioned before, and you guys have somewhat painted over this, Kickstarter. Your target's $40,000. Minimum is 25, as in to pay to it. What do you guys hope to achieve with that $40,000?
Yes, you can play about an hour with the game. You have some narrative for that time. It's full voice acted. It's kind of ready. You won't find too many bugs in there, and what you find, then you tell me, and we'll fix it as soon as possible. But we want to make the game much more long. I mean, hours and hours of gameplay.
Do you have any stretch goals?
Yeah, we have stretch goals, but sadly it's secret. Till the funding hasn't reached the original goal.
As this is a horror game, we decided to head for Halloween because that makes sense to us.
Yeah, the core game, which would be funded by $40,000, is about 3 hours gameplay. But in our plans, we have a much bigger world. So I hope with stretch goals we will able to implement.
Actually, we want to finish the game with this $40,000. So we needed to develop it for a few more months and then release it on all platforms we are trying to release. We now have a Windows and Linux and OS X demo, and these are the first target platforms.
Right now we don't have any external inventor or something like that. We are paying our team by our own, and we are running out of it. So that's why we need Kickstarter. That's a classic crowdfunding situation. So I hope we will succeed, and we will be able to make this game.
Actually, we can tell that we have a lot of content in mind, more content to the game. What we would like to add, we have really, really cool ideas to make this world expand.
Well, believe it or not, my next question was, why did you guys feel you needed to go to Kickstarter? And you just answered that question for me, because you guys need to help pay for the people that are working in your team, which is perfectly understandable, because games don't get made for free, believe it or not. Even the ones that do come across as free, someone's had to spend time and development on those. So yeah, that's perfectly reasonable.
Can I just ask a small question? Well, a couple of them around Kickstarter, because one of the pledge levels, Horrorization, says voxelize a room, including monsters. What, should we take a photo of our room, send it to you, and you put that in as a scene in the game, or what's the intent there?
Yes, that's correct. I mean, we used the rewards to pull in all our supporters into the game. I mean, we have some rewards about voxelizing your room. You take a photo and we'll try to make it a horror setting. You may design some of our items, and it will be hard, but we'll have to think a bit to make them useful in the game. So we wanted to make such rewards that you can add yourself to the game.
Yeah, we have a similar one where you can add your favorite gaming memory, a quote or an item or a phrase into this game, and if it fits, it won't be only a passive element, but it could affect the actual gameplay.
So you're telling me if I pledge the right amount and I take a picture of my wife, you could make her into a horror theme setting character, whatever have you. Believe it or not, you won't have to go very far to make her look like a horrible monster. Don't you dare tell her I said that. Don't you dare. She will kill me on the spot.
Okay, we don't believe you.
There we go. Diane, babe, I need to take a picture of you.
Okay, we'll do it for you without pledging.
But we have to let you know that most of our character faces are only 9 voxels.
Yep, that's about as much voxels as she's got on her face, mate. Perfect. She was angry.
I am sending her a copy of this episode no matter what.
Okay, I think it's only the 3 of us now.
Yeah, while he was doing that, I was reading a little bit where it says, please note if your item is too offensive, we will ask for a new one.
Oh, no. I just wanted to say that, yes, we can't include anything, so anything too trivial, we won't be able to do it because it will ruin the game. But if it's funny, then we can put it. So if you put a good quote, for example, for the Padre, then it can be a kill quote. It can be a thing what comes into the game regularly. But if it's not that fitting, then we will have to hide it a bit. But no matter the less, it will be there.
Oh yeah, it's always nice when the developers kind of take input in various forms, and I think this is a good way of doing it. At least people can, say, oh, I want there to be something, I think there should be something, and I want to support the game as is. Here's the option.
Yeah, it shouldn't be profane. That's why we put that disclaimer to that. But I think everybody will understand, and I hope we'll have many requests for rooms and for horror characters.
Yeah, I noticed that was also the case for the... was one of the options had 3D printed model or 3D printable model.
Yeah, that's why we didn't do any physical reward. For example, you can have the obligatory Kickstarter t-shirt, but we won't make it a physical one. We provide you cool art and design for t-shirt, and you can print it where you live.
Yes, we had to do that because I guess that not every supporter want to waste his or her money to pay for international shipping and stuff. So we decided to go with objects that can be made by anyone. I mean, we give you the designs, or we can give you the place where to print it in 3D, and then you will be able to have a Padre figure, for example, on your desk if you like that.
Let's go a little bit into the gameplay. So we already talked about how, it's a horror setting. It's Lovecraftian atmosphere, according to the description, which I'm looking forward to seeing more of, because, hey, that's always where things get a little bit interesting, see how people interpret that. It's point and click, it's ISO 3D, so you move around in this little ISO 3D by going, oh, I want to walk over there, I want to interact with this. And as I said, it's a gameplay style that we're not seeing a lot of these days. But you have a slight twist on it in the way that the room and the camera angle changes depending on where you are in the room.
Yes, we do. Actually, it is quite hard to do. It's sometimes to change the camera angle correctly to see your character, but we will manipulate the camera angles to have some puzzles as well. So that will be part of the game. But I won't tell you more because then I would spoil some real cool stuff we designed.
It's interesting the way that it then allows you to focus on an object. Don't know if I'm giving anything away there. So that when you move up to a table, move up to a coffin, whatever, the camera can move around and show it from a different angle.
Yeah, and from the different angle, you maybe see a new item or a totally new setup of the scene.
Though I should say, just in the little demo already in the Padre's little room, it does get a little bit awkward moving around because there's at least one place where the camera angle doesn't change quite fast enough.
We will fix that. Actually, I just noticed that problem, but we did not fix it in the demo, but it will be fixed in the live version.
Maybe you noticed that before picking the very first item which triggers the story, the letter what the Padre got, till that there's no camera changing, because we wanted to force the user to pick the letter before exploring the room's other places.
Yeah, that makes sense, I would say. Okay, I've tried to get hold of Bam, more correctly, I tried to get hold of Bam's wife to see if she's completely murdered him or if any part of him is still alive, but he should be at least zombified at this point.
Yes, I'm back. I got a thoroughly good telling off by the wife unit. Right, guys, please, the Padre. If anyone listening to this little interview of ours wants to go and play the game, where can they go and download it to have a try of your demo?
For example, at the Kickstarter page there will be links to download it, so I think that's the easiest way to find our game now. But we are on itch.io and GameJolt and IndieDB.
Okay, so just to confirm that's GameJolt, that's itch.io, that's IndieDB, yeah? And those links are on the Kickstarter page if they want to go to the Kickstarter page as well, yes?
Probably the Kickstarter page would be the best.
Okay, cool beans. We'll stick a link in the description below. Guys, go click on the link and download the game, have a play, and if you guys want to go ahead and pay some money for these guys to go and carry on developing this incredibly scary game, please go ahead and do that, because it's very, very, very scary.
And Steam is coming also.
What platforms are you going to release? Just PC? Or are you going to go to PS4, Xbox, Switch, Linux?
Around April, we're going to release for PC. After that, we are porting to mobile platform, iOS, Android. and I hope we will able to go for consoles. X1 for sure. PS4 is under discussion.
And is it difficult developing for the consoles?
For example, for PS4, it's hard because the developer fee and licenses around almost $10,000. So after paying this, we can start working.
You got to pay $10,000 just to develop a game for the PlayStation 4. Holy moly, I thought it was a case of you present your game to PlayStation. If they liked it, they then queue it up for the PlayStation Store. You got to pay money for them to sell your game. What?
Not for sell your game, just for develop. Because you have to have license, special developer, PS4 set, and so on.
For example, on PS3, you have to buy PS3 consoles. What are different from the main PS3 consoles you can buy at a store just for development, but as far as we see, Xbox doesn't make that, so you can develop your stuff on a regular and test it on a regular Xbox.
Yeah, Xbox is friendlier. I don't know. Maybe Microsoft realized that they should be more open for indies.
Yeah, that was one of the main changes they made for this generation. That with a regular Xbox One, or sort of regular one, you can turn it into a developer one with a little bit of software. Whereas on the PlayStation, it's still a dedicated machine. But then the dedicated machine has at least for some of them that I've seen, have a little readout that can tell you things about how the machine is doing, what's going on, debugging information, etc. So there are advantages to both, but I kind of agree it's not optimal for indies with Sony's approach. Larger companies, the 10,000 is nothing compared to all the other expenses. But for indies, it's a little bit much, and it would have been nice if they were a little bit more on the ball with supporting them and having an easier access.
Oh, we're not finished. G has one more question to ask you. He has got one more question. Don't you run away, guys. Don't you run away. It is the ultimate question. One might say the penultimate question. G, under Article 7, reference B in the Book of R's, subtitle 2, paragraph 3. Please, sir, ask this last question.
I thought I was getting out of these. Balash, Benza, as BAM say, final question, and apologies, but apparently I'm contractually obligated to ask this one. In all simplicity, what is your favorite kind of bacon? How do you like that bacon prepared and served? And what kind of beverage, be it, a bit of wine, a bit of vodka, perhaps a bit of Hungarian ale, do you want with that bacon?
That's a tough question. I didn't expect it. Definitely bacon and eggs is the best bacon form for me. With a beer.
Yes, I'm also a beer guy, so I would choose beer. And I think bacon with eggs.
You guys go for the classic style bacon and eggs. Classic, beautiful, simplistic. And believe it or not, you tend to go for bread, bit of toast, whatever. But you guys forget, beer is liquid bread. So technically it's bacon, eggs and toast. So you guys are having a full breakfast, a proper breakfast, bacon, eggs and toast. Yes, classic. I think I might have that tomorrow for breakfast myself.
I think next time, BAM, you visit, I'll make sure there's eggs, bacon and a Franziskaner Hefe for you. Balash, Benze, it was awesome having you on. Thank you very much for joining us here. As we're recording, your Kickstarter is approaching quickly, and by the time we're out, it should be as, the Kickstarter lands. So I know you're busy and you have lots of other places to be. There's nothing else to say from us, I guess, except I'm looking forward to see the final product. It's enjoyable from what I've tried so far. I'm loving the style. I'm loving the graphics in it. I'm loving that atmosphere that you, as I said, you somehow managed, or got inspired to, with voxels. It should not work as far as I can tell, but it does. All the best to you guys.